Hey, all. Just wanted to give my first a real attempt at a motivational slash educational slash ranty thing. Basically, what I like to talk about most is sales. I like talking about work, which is a lot of people find boring. I also like talking about philosophy and the ideas behind why we do the things we do, which is basically psychology. I spend a little time and dabble in Scientology. I know you're not supposed to say that term or whatever, I don't know. But I've tried to compare it to psychology, to Scientology, and how that's, uh, I don't, I guess basically I'm not one of those people who is unwilling to accept truths from a thing, even if other people have said no, there's no truth in that, or that's all BS or whatever. I don't trust, I guess, that much. I like to learn things for myself, but I also like to fire my ideas off on other people, and hopefully they can, give me some feedback and say, hey, that's bullshit, and here's why. And then I have to decide whether or not they're just telling me an opinion or if they are basing it in fact. And then it's really just about the energy and the exchange that you get from other people. And I'm a conversationalist, I guess. So that's part of it. So that's my introduction, I guess, to this thing that we're going to do here. But I think today we'll just talk about selling and the art of selling and direct selling, and how it is a lost art, and that it's coming back, and that more and more Fortune 500 companies are recognizing that with all this digital everything that we have, and ways of interacting without just knocking on a door and being like, "Hey, how you doing? Sorry to bother you. My name's James. I'm here with this product or that product," and you're actually selling something. And then some people are like, "Wow, this is a real salesperson." And a lot of people, they don't really like salespeople. They don't like the idea of it. They don't like somebody knocking on their door and disturbing them and their moment of whatever. But part of being a good salesperson is being able to break through that. You have to be able to recognize the situation for what it is. Okay, you have to be able to level with the person. You have to be able to get the person to engage with you. Some people are easier than others. Some people are not. That there's no sale to be had there, so you're trying to get out of their hair as fast as they are, and they've kind of learned how to get rid of people. And the more experienced they are dealing with door-to-door salespeople, the different experience that you're going to have as a door-to-door salesperson. And when you work for a major corporation, they don't want to think about those kind of things. They just want to think about, we have these addresses, we want those addresses worked, and we don't care, what your reasoning is. So you're kind of forced to work these areas where they're talented at dealing with salespeople. You got the three major things, right? You got no answer, husband, wife, decision maker. I'm sorry, I don't make the decisions right now, or I'm not sure, let me think about it. Of course, all those things that you have to overcome as a salesperson. But what I do is a little bit more of it's a informational communication product, technology product. So it's more about finding someone in a pain point and being able to help them. But the number one most important thing is that they trust me, because they don't need to get this product from me. That's the other thing too. People don't actually need to facilitate an order through a stranger at their door anymore. They can just do it with a stranger on the internet, which for some reason people are more comfortable with. Some people are not, and that's the other reason why. The other thing is that when you get ripped off online, there's nobody to get to. You know, a lot of times once you get ripped off and you realize you got you're ripped off, your only recourse is PayPal, and maybe PayPal uses insurance to pay you a month later, but you don't figure it out who the person was or whatever. They just changed their IP address or whatever. But when you got an actual person who comes to your door and says, hey, I've got this product, I work for this company, this is my gig, this is what I do. Because as a salesperson, I need to be able to reflect to them that I am invested in that product, whatever product it is, and that I am that, whatever that is. And they can call me and I will answer, and I will tell them what happened. And if I messed up, I will be like, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. This was, whatever it was. And then you make certain promises, and they have to believe your promises. And it all depends on the product that you have and how big of a product that you have too. So when I'm out knocking, for the most part, what I want to do is I want to talk to people who are home. That's the number one thing. So if you're a direct salesperson and you want to be successful, you want to talk to people who are home. You want to talk to the decision maker. Sometimes you can empower somebody to become the decision maker. That's part of sales too, so don't forget that. But you want to talk, that's the first thing. So makes sense that when you're in an area that you want to focus on where you see signs of life, cars, stuff like that, looks like somebody's home. That's what the doors you're knocking on. Some people have the approach where they just like, I'm going to knock every single door. I don't care if somebody looks home or doesn't look home. And if you have the capability of using door hangers, then yeah, that's a good idea because you're going to be going to every door, and maybe you're going to waste 30 seconds on a door, but you're not going to waste it because you're going to leave something there, and that's going to give you a reason to come back too. So when you come back, you can say, hey, I left something at your door, so now you're a person behind that. So that maybe the thoughts that they had about, oh, I got some junk mail on my door, I don't trust that stuff, because they've been throwing away junk mail from a lot of times if you're selling a big enough product, they've been getting junk mail from that particular company for a very long time. So when you put something else on their door, it's just another thing, even though it's got hopefully you're going to have something that's handwritten, that a personal message where they know they're dealing with a real person, providing a phone number or an email to where they can reach back out. And usually reaching back out is all that's necessary for a real salesperson to close a deal. So that's why it's a different deal too, completely different deal. We talk about sales all the time in different areas, but people were mostly talking about inbound sales or talking about where they're dealing with a customer who's walked into their store and whatever. And that's annoying because everybody's interested. That's why they're there. But then there's the evasion from that people run into, like, you walk into a retail store, oh, I'm just looking, and as a salesperson, everything you want to sell everybody, so that's a different approach. It's a different everything. When you're knocking on their door cold, you're bringing them off the couch, you're interrupting their dinner. Sometimes you're interrupting their shows. Back in the day, you didn't used to be able to pause your show, and I've been knocking doors long enough to remember that, which is part of the reason why I'm trying to go to this as opposed to actually knocking doors in 55-degree weather in the rain, which is what we're dealing with in my local area today. But yeah, all the things you have to be able to, as a salesperson and a direct salesperson, you have to be able to be in the moment with the customer. You can't just be like, hello, my name is, I do this. Of course, those are the big four, who you are, who you're with, what you got, and how much, that's going to always be part of the process. But how you get there and the engagement process, and then establishing that the customer needs the products you have. I happen to sell a product that everybody wants and everybody needs. Maybe 1 out of 100 people are like, no, I don't use the internet. No, I don't use a cell phone. No, I don't watch TV. Very rare that you'll run into that. So what you're really running into for me is just either or. Either you're going to use this or that, are you going to switch? Do you want to switch? Then I figure out, and that's the most important thing too, figure out what you're selling all the time. So no matter what the product is, sometimes you're selling apples and the customer doesn't buy the apple, they buy the idea of what's the apple's going to provide for them. And you have to recognize who you're selling, who you're talking to, and that is kind of a vibe thing. And a lot of people, you can't really teach that. So either you have it or you don't. And it's really about wanting. If that's an intention of yours to engage with the customer, you're going to figure it out. It's going to start coming to you. You just got to trust your instincts, because your instincts is all you have to out there selling. And that's the number one thing. And it's confidence too. Your confidence breeds competence. It's the same thing whether you're dating or you're making a sale. Whatever you're doing, it's that first 30 seconds. It's what impression you make. And the great thing about sales is you can blow it 55 times, and on this 56th time you didn't blow it, and you may have had a long day, but you got the job done. And that's really, really bad, by the way. Like, that's not something that I'm used to. I'm used to my close rate's usually around 20%. And that's from cold call standpoint. I like to make it closer to 50 to 60%, which is what it would be for me on a warm call basis. I happen to sell a product where there's no risk and 30-day money back guarantee and no money up front and things like that. So ultimately, I'm selling the idea of something being better for what they have, so what they have now. And then that comes from me asking them about what they have, asking them questions, making them the expert basically, and asking them what products they have, what they use, how they use it, what do they like most about it. It feels like a survey for them, and it lets them be the person in charge. And it takes a lot of pressure off of me as a salesperson, because now I noticed that this customer's been talking to me for 4 minutes, and they are doing most of the talking, and I'm taking them down the road. Now I need to know what questions to ask next. That's what salespeople do. So besides, hey, I'm such and such, who you are, who you're with, what you got, and you don't really talk about how much. At this point, you haven't gotten to the how much. You're talking to them about what they have, so they know who you are, what you're doing, and why you're asking them. But I do the consultative approach basically. When I'm out selling, I don't do, I'm just going to close you and sell you this new product you're going to buy. That's not how I do it. How I do it is I ask what they have, and then only at the end, after they've told me everything about them and what they're going to do, and I realize that they've come to the end of telling me what they're going to tell me, that's when I tell them what I'm going to tell them. And it's usually at that point, it's based on what you said. It looks like this is going to be the best fit for you. And that comes with product knowledge, okay? So once it gets to the end and you're ready to close a sale and you don't know what the heck you're doing, you don't know your numbers, you don't know your price, you lost it. It doesn't matter if the customer's interested. You lost that sale because you didn't have confidence. Well, this is the reason why also that salespeople sometimes lie or say a mistruth or say something because they don't know and they're just making shit up. I'm sorry for... I guess we're a whole different ranking, but yeah, they just make stuff up because they don't know and they want to keep talking, right? Because they're like, if I lose you, I'm going to lose my audience, and I'm not going to be able to show you that I'm confident. We'll figure that out at the end. Well, you learn the things you have to learn as a salesperson, and the things you need to learn is everything that it needs to close the deal. So sometimes people are wary of a salesperson that is going to make it sound better than it is so they can get them roped in, and then they got tricked into getting this product. Well, another thing I do is I give my personal number to 98% of everybody who buys from me, and that 2% was just usually by accident. I gave them my work phone number, but I didn't give them my personal phone number. And the main reason why I do that is part of my close. It's like, look, I don't get phone calls from people saying, you said, and I'm lying, because it has happened. It has happened in the past where people called me, but when they caught me and they told me, hey, this happened, I learned something, and I was like, oh, okay. Bosses didn't tell me that changed. Okay, now I know, and that's a bad thing. It's embarrassing, but at the same time, it's a learning, and it's how you deal with that. I've closed sales on just taking accountability for my mistakes. People appreciate that. It's so weird how there's so many different ways to make a sale, but ultimately you have to know what they want. And that's why I was going back to the apple. So you're not selling just an apple, you're selling the idea of the apple, and you have to know what idea that customer wants to what they're seeing, and you're going to paint that narrative for them, and that's another part of it. So that's why you're asking questions. You're seeing what they like, and now you know what they like. They've given you all the information that you need to close the sale, and you figured out this customer likes convenience, or this customer likes to save money. This customer doesn't care about anything, but they have to keep other people happy. That's when those other people become important. So it's all questions, and questions are the answers. I'm trying to keep these under 20 minutes, so I'm talking fast, which I always do. That's another thing. That's another sales guy tactic, is that they talk fast and overwhelm you, and the customer gets all like, I need to think about this. And that's what you don't want as a salesperson. You don't ever want to introduce a situation where the customer is going to say, of course, you don't ever want to hear the C word, the cancel word. I'm going to cancel my order, or I don't want to make my order, or whatever. I'm not interested. No, sorry. That's fine. And a fast no interested is great. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't get mad about it at all. The only thing as a salesperson that I've ever had like a nightmare about was when I was in a presentation, and the customer would not say yes, but they wouldn't say no. And every time I tried to back away from the deal, they would up the stakes. And I would get trapped in this wanting what I want and what they want. And so ultimately this does happen. You know, you have a lot of people that are lonely, that will trap you and take your time. And time is so precious right now. It's so precious. So that's the thing about sales, is that when you are out there working, you have to be able to engage, find out what they want, be confident, and not give a shit. Not give a shit if they're pissed off. Not care if they get, oh, I'm sorry to bug you. Here, well, here's my card. I'm out of here. You don't want to emotionally invest with people's lives and their day. Some people try to sell that way. Like, I know a guy who sells where he talks about his religion, and he talks about his church, and he talks about his he tries to pull the heartstrings. I don't want to do that. I got enough friends. And I've told that to my customers before when they called me for the third time for something weird. And I was like, yeah, this is not a work call. And I'm like, I've got enough friends. I don't want to be rude, but I've got enough friends. And I'm not trying to make friends out there, basically. I'm not trying to make enemies, obviously, because I give out my personal number to everybody. And everybody's different. I wouldn't feel good making a sale based on that, based on the idea that now I have a friend, somebody who cares about me. I don't want to owe that much to someone else. You know, I want to say, hey, I gave you a good deal, end of transaction. It's kind of like, if anybody ever watched that show, The Good Place, where they had the Janets, and the Janets were these AI type bots that knew everything. And then they had a regular Janet, or not regular Janet, she was but she was like, at the end of everything that she would say, she'd be like, end of conversation. And it was so great, because you get to nice tie downs is what it's a tie. It's, you're tying it up. You're closing the sale. That's how you close the sale, is you close the deal, nothing else left to be said, and get the hell out of there. You know, it's great. Move on to the next one. You know, that's that's another thing people say. The best time to make a sale is right after you just made a sale. So I don't disagree with that at all. So yeah, when you're out working and you're out there doing this thing that we do, which is direct selling, hopefully if you're on this podcast, this is going to be something that that you learn from. You should already know the big four. Whatever your big four is for your specific product, it's going to be who you are, who you're with, what you got, and then the how much. And you best know that how much. Have confidence in that. That's another thing that I would say. Stepping away at the door is a good tip too. So, we can get more into the minutia of it on other shows, but this will be the first episode where we just kind of introduced ourselves here and just talked about. I'm James Jeffries, by the way. I don't know if I introduced myself in that way, but I hope that you gain something from this, and I'll be reading comments, and the show will evolve based on that. So thank you so much for being part of it.